Abstract. This analysis examines the growing divergence in value creation from artificial intelligence investments across global enterprises. Drawing on empirical research of over 1,250 organizations worldwide. The study reveals that only 5% of companies, termed future-built, achieve substantial bottom-line value from AI at scale, while 60% generate minimal returns despite significant investment. Future-built companies demonstrate 1.7 times greater revenue growth and 3.6 times higher 3-year total shareholder return compared to laggards. The value gap widens as leading firms reinvest AI-generated returns into enhanced capabilities, creating compounding competitive advantages. Evidence indicates that 70% of AI value concentrates in core business functions, with agentic AI emerging as a critical accelerator. Organizations can close this gap by following a proven playbook, establishing ambitious multi-year AI strategies with CEO-level ownership, reshaping workflows end-to-end rather than automating incrementally, adopting AI-first operating models with joint business IT governance, systematically upskilling workforce talent, and building interoperable technology architectures. The analysis provides actionable frameworks for executives seeking to accelerate AI maturity and capture transformative value before competitive positioning becomes irreversible. The question confronting CEOs, boards, and investors has shifted from whether to invest in artificial intelligence to why those investments are not generating expected returns. For most organizations, the answer remains discouraging. Despite cumulative AI investments exceeding $250 billion in 2024 alone, Stanford University, the majority of companies struggle to translate technological capability into business value. This disconnect has created what BCG terms the widening AI value gap, a phenomenon where a small cohort of organizations pulls dramatically ahead while the majority stagnate or fall further behind. Apotheker et al. 2025. The stakes are substantial and intensifying. Research across 1,250 global enterprises reveals that only 5% qualify as future-built companies achieving transformative AI value at scale. These leaders generate 1.7 times more revenue growth, maintain 1.6 times higher EBIT margins, and deliver 3.6 times greater 3-year total shareholder returns than their slower-moving competitors. Apotheker et al. 2025. Meanwhile, 60% of organizations remain trapped in what might be characterized as an AI investment paradox, substantial capital allocation paired with minimal tangible returns. What makes this gap particularly consequential is its self-reinforcing nature. Future-built companies reinvest their AI-generated returns into advanced capabilities, especially agentic AI systems that combine predictive analytics with generative capacity to reason, learn, and act autonomously. This creates a virtuous cycle of compounding advantage. Conversely, laggards face a vicious cycle. Limited value realization constrains investment capacity, preventing the capability development necessary for breakthrough performance. The emergence of agentic AI represents an inflection point. These autonomous digital workers already account for 17% of total AI value in 2025 and are projected to reach 29% by 2028. Apotheker et al. 2025. Organizations that master agent orchestration within redesigned workflows will fundamentally reshape competitive dynamics across industries. Those that fail to act decisively risk permanent competitive disadvantage. This article synthesizes empirical evidence and practitioner insights to illuminate why the AI value gap widens, what future-built organizations do differently, and how laggards can accelerate their transformation. The analysis draws on comprehensive survey data, financial performance metrics, and detailed organizational case studies to provide actionable guidance for executives navigating this critical juncture in digital transformation. The AI maturity landscape defining AI value creation in the enterprise context. AI value creation in business settings extends far beyond narrow efficiency gains or cost reductions. Contemporary frameworks increasingly distinguish between three fundamental pathways through which AI generates economic returns: deploying efficiency-enhancing tools, reshaping existing workflows, and inventing entirely new business models. Apotheker et al. 2025. This taxonomy reflects a maturation in how organizations conceptualize AI's strategic potential. At the foundational level, deployment involves implementing generative AI tools for discrete tasks, code generation, invoice reconciliation, meeting summarization, and similar applications that boost individual or team productivity. While valuable, deployment typically yields incremental improvements rather than transformative change. Organizations comfortable only at this level may achieve 10 to 20% efficiency gains in targeted processes but miss opportunities for fundamental business model innovation. Reshaping represents a more ambitious approach, targeting core business workflows for end-to-end transformation, rather than automating existing steps in isolation. Reshaping asks, how would we design this workflow from scratch if AI capabilities were available from the outset? This might involve redesigning marketing campaign development to leverage AI-driven personalization at scale, restructuring supply chain management around predictive demand algorithms, or reimagining customer service through intelligent agent orchestration. Organizations successfully reshaping workflows report 25 to 40% time savings and measurable quality improvements. Apotheker et al. 2025. At the highest level, invention creates AI-native offerings that unlock new revenue streams. Examples include hyper-personalized customer experiences impossible without real-time AI analysis, entirely new products incorporating AI as core functionality, and monetization of proprietary data assets through AI-powered insights. One global solutions provider created an entirely new digital restaurant technology business using Vision AI to optimize kitchen operations, identifying a 1.15 billion addressable market with projected revenues of 1.15 billion addressable market with projected revenues of 1.15 billion addressable market with projected revenues of 400 million within 5 years at twice the gross margin of traditional offerings. Apotheker et al. 2025. Value measurement frameworks must capture both tangible and strategic dimensions. Tangible metrics include revenue increases, projected at 14.2% for future-built companies in areas where AI applies by 2028, cost reductions, 9.6% for leaders, and measurable improvements in key performance indicators such as time to hire, customer satisfaction scores, and defect rates. Apotheker et al. 2025. Strategic value manifests in enhanced competitive positioning, accelerated innovation cycles, improved decision quality, and organizational agility, benefits that compound over time but resist precise quantification. Prevalence, drivers, and distribution of AI maturity. The distribution of AI maturity across global enterprises reveals striking concentration. BCG's comprehensive assessment framework, measuring 41 foundational capabilities across 4 maturity stages, classified surveyed organizations into distinct categories: stagnating, 14%, emerging, 46%, scaling, 35%, and future-built, 5%. Apotheker et al. 2025. This distribution represents both stability and concerning stagnation, while the share of scaling organizations increased 13 percentage points from 2024. The proportion achieving transformative value at scale grew only marginally. Several structural factors drive this uneven distribution. Leadership commitment emerges as the single most predictive variable. Nearly 100% of future-built organizations report deeply engaged C-suites compared with only 8% of laggards. Apotheker et al. 2025. This isn't merely rhetorical support but active participation. Senior executives at leading firms use AI in daily decision-making, personally sponsor transformation initiatives, and hold business units accountable for measurable AI value delivery. Technology and data foundations create another critical divergence. Future-built companies are 3 times as likely to operate centralized AI platforms that enable reuse, interoperability, and governed access to trusted enterprise data. Apotheker et al. 2025. More than half maintain enterprise-wide data models compared with just 4% of stagnating firms. This infrastructure advantage compounds. Each new use case strengthens the platform and accelerates subsequent deployments. Talent strategies reveal a third driver. Future-built organizations plan to upskill more than 50% of their workforce in AI capabilities in 2025. Compared with only 20% at lagging firms. Apotheker et al. 2025. They are 6 times as likely to dedicate structured time for AI learning and twice as likely to engage employees in co-designing AI solutions. This widespread capability building enables faster adoption and more effective human-AI collaboration. Investment patterns both reflect and reinforce maturity gaps. Future-built companies allocate 26% more total IT spending, representing nearly a full percentage point of revenue, and dedicate 64% more of their IT budgets specifically to AI initiatives. Apotheker et al. 2025. Critically, they earn this investment capacity through earlier AI successes. A 7 times higher return on invested capital creates financial headroom for aggressive capability building that laggards cannot match. Sectoral variations overlay these general patterns. Software companies, telecommunications providers, and payments fintech firms lead the maturity rankings, while fashion and luxury, chemicals, and construction lag significantly. Airlines and telecommunications derive nearly 80% of AI value from core business functions, while other sectors show more distributed benefits. Apotheker et al. 2025. These differences reflect varying levels of digital maturity, data availability, regulatory constraints, and competitive pressure. Regional patterns show more subtle differentiation. North America maintains slight advantages on most adoption metrics, with Asia-Pacific following closely and Europe somewhat behind, though all regions include both leading and lagging organizations. Asia-Pacific firms allocate the highest share of IT budgets to AI, 5.2% versus 4.6% in Europe and 4.4% in North America, and report slightly higher expected value through 2028. Apotheker et al. 2025. Organizational and individual consequences of AI value gaps. Organizational performance impacts. The financial and operational consequences of AI maturity differences manifest across multiple dimensions, creating measurable performance gaps that widen over time. Revenue growth represents the most visible differential. Future-built organizations achieve 1.7 times higher revenue increases compared to stagnating and emerging companies, translating to 14.2% projected gains in AI-enabled areas by 2028 versus 6.8% for laggards. Apotheker et al. 2025. This advantage stems from AI-driven innovation in core revenue-generating functions, sales effectiveness, marketing personalization, pricing optimization, and new product development. Profitability metrics show equally striking divergence. Future-built companies maintain EBIT margins 1.6 times higher than laggards and achieve returns on invested capital 2.7 times greater. Apotheker et al. 2025. These margins reflect both revenue enhancement and structural cost advantages. In areas where AI applies, leading organizations project 9.6% cost reductions by 2028 through workflow automation, process optimization and resource allocation improvements. One multi-format retailer documented AI-driven cost, margin, and revenue impacts totaling hundreds of millions of dollars over 5 years, adding more than 10% to company EBITDA, a contribution explicitly recognized by investors as strategically important. Apotheker et al. 2025. Total shareholder returns provide perhaps the most comprehensive performance measure. Over a 3-year period, June 2022 to May 2025, future-built companies delivered 3.6 times higher TSR than stagnating and emerging organizations. Apotheker et al. 2025. This substantial premium reflects investor confidence in AI-enabled growth trajectories and sustainable competitive advantages. It also creates self-reinforcing dynamics. Higher valuations facilitate capital access for continued AI investment, further widening capability gaps. Innovation output offers another revealing indicator. Future-built organizations generate 3.5 times more patents than laggards. Apotheker et al. 2025, suggesting that AI capabilities accelerate both the pace and breadth of innovation. This productivity extends beyond formal intellectual property to encompass faster product development cycles, more effective R&D processes, and greater experimentation capacity. The compounding nature of innovation advantage means that early leaders continuously expand their portfolio of differentiated offerings. Operational efficiency gains concentrate in core business functions. Energy companies implementing AI-powered infrastructure monitoring and predictive maintenance report 30% cost avoidance in addressable expenses when workflows reach full deployment, with 45% of firms having already scaled or fully deployed these capabilities. Apotheker et al. 2025. Manufacturing organizations using AI-enabled robotics and assembly automation achieve similar magnitudes of improvement, fundamentally reshaping production economics. Time to impact represents a critical but often overlooked performance dimension. Future-built companies deploy AI initiatives in 9 to 12 months compared to 12 to 18 months for others, with deployment success rates exceeding 60% versus 12% for laggards. Apotheker et al. 2025. This velocity advantage enables faster learning, more rapid value realization, and greater organizational confidence in AI transformation. The strategic implications extend beyond near-term financial performance. Organizations trailing in AI maturity face deteriorating competitive positions as digital native competitors and AI-advanced incumbents reshape industry economics. Research across multiple sectors suggests that companies in the bottom quartile of digital maturity experience margin compression, market share erosion, and declining innovation productivity. Apotheker et al. 2025. Without decisive intervention, these dynamics become irreversible as the capability gap grows too large to bridge. Customer, employee, and stakeholder experience impacts. AI maturity differences ripple through stakeholder experiences in ways that reinforce or undermine organizational performance. Customer-facing functions account for more than 50% of perceived AI benefits, reflecting direct impact on experience quality, personalization, and service responsiveness. Apotheker et al. 2025. Organizations successfully deploying AI in customer journeys report measurable improvements in satisfaction, engagement, and lifetime value metrics. Consider the beauty products company that implemented an industry-first virtual assistant across more than 20 markets and 8 brands. By combining AI-powered consultation with real-time personalization, supported by unified data infrastructure, the company projected $100 million in incremental revenue, doubling the ROI of traditional e-commerce pathways while enabling always-on, personalized engagement impossible through human agents alone. Apotheker et al. 2025. Customers benefit from immediate, contextually relevant guidance. The organization gains unprecedented insight into preferences and behaviors. In B2B contexts, AI reshapes value delivery models. The global solutions provider that created Vision AI technology for restaurant operations generated 100% customer satisfaction in trials by delivering actionable insights on speed of service, labor efficiency, and kitchen optimization, accelerator. 2025. The value proposition extended beyond traditional product offerings to outcome-based consultation, fundamentally reframing the customer relationship. Employee experience represents another critical dimension where AI maturity creates divergence. Organizations that engage workers in co-designing AI solutions and invest systematically in upskilling report smoother adoption, higher utilization rates, and more positive workforce attitudes toward technology change. Future-built companies involve employees twice as often as others in reshaping workflows, building ownership and trust that accelerates transformation, accelerator. 2025. Conversely, organizations that impose AI systems without adequate training, communication, or redesign of workflows encounter resistance, workarounds, and suboptimal utilization. The 72% of companies reporting unmanaged AI security risks, accelerator. 2025, suggest that many rush deployment without establishing necessary governance, training, and support structures. This creates employee anxiety about job security, frustration with poorly designed systems, and skepticism about management's competence in technology strategy. The evolution toward agentic AI intensifies these dynamics, as autonomous digital workers assume increasing responsibility for routine tasks. Human roles shift toward oversight, judgment, and complex problem-solving. Organizations that proactively redesign roles, clarify human-AI collaboration models, and invest in capability building enable their workforce to focus on higher-value contributions. Those that treat agents as simple automation risk de-skilling their workforce, missing opportunities for human-AI synergy, and creating organizational antibodies that slow adoption. Stakeholder trust represents an emerging concern as AI becomes more autonomous. Organizations implementing responsible AI frameworks, including transparency about AI usage, clear governance over data access, and mechanisms for human override, build confidence among customers, regulators, and employees. Future-built companies are 4.6 times as likely to have fit-for-purpose guardrails and 2.6 times as likely to rigorously track AI value across the organization, accelerator. 2025, signaling that ethical deployment and business value align rather than conflict. The societal implications of widening AI value gaps deserve consideration. As leading organizations capture disproportionate economic returns through AI mastery, they may consolidate market power, reshape employment landscapes, and influence regulatory frameworks. Organizations in lagging sectors or regions risk economic marginalization if they cannot access necessary talent, technology, or capital. These dynamics suggest that narrowing the AI value gap carries implications beyond individual firm performance to encompass broader questions of economic opportunity and industrial competitiveness. Evidence-based organizational responses, strategic leadership, and multi-year ambition. The most fundamental differentiator between value generators and laggards is the level and nature of executive engagement. Future-built companies approach AI as board and CEO-sponsored programs, elevating the agenda beyond isolated experiments to enterprise-wide strategic imperatives. Nearly 100% of these organizations report deeply engaged C-suites who articulate unified AI visions, allocate substantial funding, and demonstrate personal commitment through daily AI usage in strategic decision-making, accelerator. 2025. Effective approaches to executive leadership include explicit value targeting, rather than broad aspirations, Leading organizations translate business objectives into specific, measurable AI targets. One large global bank reimagined its entire HR function through an hire to retire lens, defining concrete KPIs such as time to hire, 90-day retention rates, and service request cycle times to track transformation progress. Apotheker et al. 2025. This specificity enables resource allocation discipline and accountability. Multi-year roadmapping. Future-built firms sequence AI capabilities deliberately, prioritizing high-value workflows while building foundational infrastructure for long-term scale. They resist the temptation to switch on all enterprise applications simultaneously, instead following clear implementation roadmaps that balance quick wins with sustainable capability building. Active sponsorship and role modeling. Senior leaders at leading organizations don't merely endorse AI initiatives, they actively participate. CEOs use AI tools in board preparation, CFOs leverage predictive analytics in resource allocation, and CHROs pilot AI-enabled talent management. This visible engagement signals organizational priority and builds confidence in transformation outcomes. Board-level governance. Approximately 40% of future-built companies explicitly embed shared ownership of AI into governance structures, compared with 19% of stagnating firms. Apotheker et al. 2025. This institutionalization ensures continuity beyond individual executive tenure and aligns accountability across business and IT leadership. The major global bank demonstrates this leadership approach comprehensively, rather than delegating HR transformation to middle management. The bank positioned it as a top-down strategic program to showcase RI's potential for fundamental function reinvention. Senior leadership visibly steered the initiative, supported by domain experts, ensuring speed, accountability, and value delivery. Apotheker et al. 2025. A critical element involves removing systemic roadblocks. Future-built leaders tackle challenges, talent gaps, technology constraints, data quality issues, through direct intervention rather than delegating them to working-level problem-solving. They are 3 times as likely to appoint chief AI officers and twice as likely to designate chief data officers. Apotheker et al. 2025, creating accountable leadership for cross-enterprise challenges that no single business unit can resolve alone. Value-based workflow transformation. Future-built organizations distinguish themselves by focusing AI deployment on workflows that directly impact business outcomes rather than scattering resources across numerous, isolated use cases. This prioritization discipline generates 76% higher alignment between AI deployment and impact realization compared to other firms. Apotheker et al. 2025. Effective transformation approaches include end-to-end workflow redesign, rather than automating individual steps within existing processes. Leading companies reimagine entire workflows with AI capabilities assumed from the outset. The consumer products company that transformed its global marketing function didn't simply add AI tools to existing campaign development, it fundamentally restructured how campaigns were created, activated, and measured. Apotheker et al. 2025. Impact-based portfolio management. Future-built firms employ rigorous frameworks to map AI opportunities against strategic priorities, estimating value potential, assessing implementation complexity, and sequencing initiatives for maximum impact. The consumer products company used department-wide surveys to map campaigns, activities, and resources, then developed a feasibility matrix highlighting the most valuable workflows for AI integration. Apotheker et al. 2025. Concentration on core business functions, rather than distributing AI effort equally across all areas. Leading organizations concentrate 70% of their AI value in core business workflows, sales and marketing, manufacturing, supply chain, pricing, and R&D. Apotheker et al. 2025. This focus ensures that AI directly influences revenue generation and competitive positioning. Rigorous value tracking. More than 60% of future-built firms systematically measure and report AI value, compared with only 17% of stagnating companies, Apotheker et al. 2025. This tracking enables learning, course correction, and demonstration of tangible returns that justify continued investment. The consumer products marketing transformation exemplifies this approach. By prioritizing workflows based on value potential and feasibility, the company achieved 25 to 40% time savings in content creation, brand planning and reporting while doubling speed to market for campaign activation, Apotheker et al. 2025. Importantly, the company didn't stop at efficiency, it used the transformation to improve deliverable quality and strategic marketing effectiveness. Travel and infrastructure companies demonstrate sector-specific applications. By implementing dynamic pricing optimization with real-time demand adjustments, these firms achieve substantial revenue gains, with 20% having scaled or fully deployed this workflow and projecting 39% revenue increases at full deployment, Apotheker et al. 2025. The capability to continuously adjust pricing based on complex demand signals creates sustainable competitive advantage in commoditizing markets. Industrial goods manufacturers show similar patterns in production workflows. AI-powered robotics enabling advanced assembly and task automation drive 25% cost savings when fully deployed, with 29% of companies having reached scaled implementation, Apotheker et al. 2025. These operational improvements directly impact manufacturing economics and competitive cost positions. Joint business IT operating models. A defining practice of future-built companies is shared ownership between business and IT functions, with clear decision rights and mutual accountability. These organizations are 1.5 times as likely to adopt this collaborative model, Apotheker et al. 2025, ensuring that technology capabilities align with business priorities while business leaders commit to measurable AI-enabled outcomes. Effective operating model approaches include co-ownership structures, rather than positioning AI as an IT project or exclusively a business initiative. Leading organizations establish joint governance where business units own outcome delivery while IT provides enabling capabilities. More than 40% of future-built companies explicitly embed this shared ownership into formal governance, compared with 19% of stagnating firms, Apotheker et al. 2025. Balanced centralization. Future-built firms strike deliberate balances between empowering decentralized innovation and maintaining central steering with accountable P&L ownership. They establish centers of excellence that provide reusable capabilities, standards, and best practices while enabling business units to customize and deploy AI within governed frameworks. Human-AI workflow integration. Leading organizations don't merely add AI to existing processes, they redesign workflows around optimal human-AI collaboration. The major global bank's HR transformation asked 3 fundamental questions. Which employee journeys matter most? Which components can AI handle? Which tasks must remain with human staff? Apotheker et al. 2025. This systematic analysis ensures that both human and digital workers operate at their highest value. Ecosystem partnership strategies, recognizing that internal capabilities alone prove insufficient. Future-built companies leverage external partners strategically. They are 3 times as likely to use agents and reuse models across workflows when they engage the ecosystem of infrastructure providers, platform vendors and application specialists, Apotheker et al. 2025. The insurance company that deployed agentic AI across underwriting and claims exemplifies effective ecosystem engagement. By partnering with best-in-class providers of AI infrastructure, foundation models, and data integration platforms, the company accelerated deployment while orchestrating a multi-vendor ecosystem that no single partner could deliver. Apotheker et al. 2025. Operating model transformation requires addressing critical design questions that many laggards avoid. How do we deliver outcomes differently through AI agents? Which workflows merit end-to-end reinvention? Where do humans provide distinctive value? How do we ensure responsible AI principles have practical effect? Organizations that engage these questions directly, rather than defaulting to incremental automation, position themselves for transformative value creation. Systematic talent development and workforce transformation. Future-built organizations recognize that scaling AI requires access to scarce talent and systematic workforce transformation. They invest in broad-based capability building while fundamentally rethinking human roles in AI-enabled workflows. This dual focus on skills and workflow redesign distinguishes leaders from laggards who assume that providing AI tools alone will generate adoption and value. Effective talent strategies include ambitious upskilling programs. Leading companies plan to train more than 50% of their workforce in AI capabilities in 2025. Compared with only 20% at lagging firms. Apotheker et al. 2025. This isn't superficial awareness training but structured programs with dedicated time, clear learning objectives, and accountability for skill application. Future-built organizations are 6 times as likely to carve out protected time for AI learning, co-design and engagement, rather than imposing AI systems from above. Effective organizations involve employees actively in solution development. Future-built companies engage their workforce twice as often as others in shaping and adopting AI. Apotheker et al. 2025, Building Ownership, Surfacing Practical Insights, and Accelerating Adoption Through Inclusive Transformation Approaches. Strategic Workforce Planning. Leading firms are 5 times as likely to engage in systematic workforce planning for AI. Apotheker et al. 2025, Anticipating how roles will evolve, which capabilities will become critical, and where to source necessary expertise. This planning enables proactive talent development rather than reactive crisis management. Hybrid role redesign. As agentic AI assumes responsibility for routine tasks, human roles increasingly emphasize oversight, judgment, contextual interpretation, and orchestration of human digital worker teams. Future-built organizations deliberately design these hybrid roles, clarifying responsibilities, decision rights, and performance expectations for effective collaboration. The software sector exemplifies ambitious upskilling, with companies planning to train 55% of staff in AI capabilities, nearly 4 times the rate of chemicals and machinery firms. Apotheker et al. 2025. This investment reflects both competitive necessity in talent-intensive industries and strategic recognition that widespread AI literacy drives innovation and adoption. The evolution of talent needs extends beyond technical skills to encompass new forms of business acumen. As AI handles more analytical and optimization tasks, human value concentrates in areas like strategic thinking, stakeholder relationship management, creative problem solving, and ethical judgment. Organizations that help their workforce develop these capabilities, while shedding routine responsibilities to AI agents, enable higher value contributions and more satisfying work experiences. Technology architecture and data foundation building. Future-built companies understand that capturing transformative AI value requires fundamental changes to technology infrastructure and data management. They move beyond accumulating disconnected tools toward integrated platforms that enable reuse, interoperability, and governed access to trusted enterprise data. Effective technology approaches include centralized AI platform strategy. Leading organizations are 3 times as likely to operate central, integrated AI platforms as the backbone for deployment. Apotheker et al. 2025. These platforms provide common capabilities for security, monitoring, and orchestration that teams build once and reuse repeatedly. Each new use case strengthens the platform and accelerates subsequent implementations. Portfolio approach to technology sourcing, rather than committing exclusively to in-house development or external vendors. Successful companies curate strategic mixes across for sourcing options, standalone agentic solutions for narrow tasks, embedded capabilities within enterprise platforms, agent builder platforms for custom development, and bespoke solutions for differentiating use cases. Only 11% rely primarily on internal development, and just 4% depend on single end-to-end vendors, Apotheker et al. 2025. Enterprise-wide data models. More than 50% of future-built firms operate on unified data models, compared with approximately 4% of stagnating peers, Apotheker et al. 2025. This foundation gives teams rapid access to reliable data while maintaining quality, security, and governance. Central steering combined with domain-specific data ingestion creates both efficiency and flexibility. Reusable models and prompts. Leading companies maintain centralized repositories of proven AI models and prompts, drastically reducing duplicative work. This systematic reuse accelerates deployment, improves quality through continuous refinement, and enables non-technical staff to leverage sophisticated AI capabilities through simple interfaces. The electronic device manufacturer demonstrates effective platform thinking through its company store approach by assembling centralized agentic AI solutions to govern, scale, and monitor use cases across more than 200 factories. The company enables core agents to be used repeatedly, accelerating new workflow deployment and supporting 80% automation in complex operations like defect diagnostics and production planning, Apotheker et al. 2025. The projected $300 million EBIT impact stems directly from this architecture of reuse. Governance emerges as a critical enabler rather than constraint. Future-built firms are 3 times as likely to enforce enterprise-wide data policies through central oversight teams, ensuring quality, trust, and responsible use, Apotheker et al. 2025. This governance creates the confidence necessary for business units to leverage shared platforms and external partnerships without unacceptable risk. The technology foundation must support emerging capabilities, particularly agentic AI. As autonomous digital workers proliferate, fragmented architectures that force teams to rebuild from scratch become untenable. Forward-looking organizations design for interoperability, adopting standards like the Model Context Protocol that promote reusability across workflows, reduce deployment costs, and avoid vendor lock-in. Building long-term AI-enabled competitive advantage embedded strategic AI vision and continuous investment. The most successful organizations treat AI not as a one-time transformation program but as an ongoing capability that requires sustained investment, learning, and evolution. This long-term orientation distinguishes future-built companies from those pursuing quarterly results or episodic initiatives. The compounding nature of AI advantage means that organizations making consistent, strategically aligned investments over multiple years develop capabilities that rivals cannot easily replicate. Building enduring AI advantage requires several interconnected practices: reinvestment of AI-generated returns. Future-built companies create virtuous cycles by channeling productivity gains and revenue increases back into expanded AI capabilities. The 2.7 times higher return on invested capital these organizations achieve, Apotheker et al. 2025, provides financial capacity for ambitious capability building. Rather than treating AI benefits as pure profit, leading firms view them as fuel for accelerated transformation. Dynamic capability development. As AI technology evolves, from predictive analytics to generative AI to agentic systems, organizations must continuously refresh their capabilities. The projected doubling of agentic RE's contribution to total value from 17% in 2025 to 29% by 2028, Apotheker et al. 2025, illustrates how quickly the frontier advances. Organizations that master current capabilities while simultaneously exploring emerging ones position themselves to capitalize on successive waves of innovation. Learning organization principles. Future-built companies institutionalize mechanisms for capturing lessons from AI deployments, sharing insights across business units, and iteratively improving implementation approaches. The 62% deployment rate for AI initiatives at these organizations versus 12% for laggards, Apotheker et al. 2025, reflects both better initial design and systematic refinement based on experience. Strategic partnerships for continuous innovation, recognizing that internal capabilities alone prove insufficient for sustained leadership. Effective organizations cultivate ecosystems of technology providers, research institutions, and complementary businesses. These partnerships provide access to emerging capabilities, reduce time to deployment, and enable experimentation without betting the company on unproven approaches. The retail executive's observation captures this philosophy succinctly. We concentrate on senior sponsorship and ownership of AI benefits by the businesses, which creates the room to invest in foundational data and the right capabilities. The AI capital allocation is managed centrally to prioritize the largest opportunities, but amortization is carried by business teams to ensure they have skin in the game and own the impact. Apotheker et al. 2025. This model balances strategic direction with operational accountability, organizational agility, and adaptive execution. Long-term AI advantage requires organizations to simultaneously pursue efficiency and innovation, often characterized as ambidexterity. Future-built companies demonstrate this capability by scaling proven AI applications while experimenting with emerging approaches, maintaining stability in core operations while rapidly prototyping new workflows. Critical elements of adaptive execution include fast feedback mechanisms. Organizations pursuing AI transformation benefit from establishing rapid learning cycles where initial deployments inform quick adjustments. The 9 to 12-month deployment timelines achieved by future-built companies compared to 12 to 18 months for others, Apotheker et al. 2025, enable faster iteration and learning, rather than pursuing perfection before deployment. Leading firms implement systematically imperfect solutions with strong feedback loops for continuous improvement. Experimentation discipline, while willingness to experiment distinguishes leaders. Effective experimentation requires discipline. Future-built organizations focus experiments on high-priority workflows rather than scattering resources across hundreds of isolated pilots. They define clear success criteria, allocate sufficient resources for meaningful tests, and make systematic go/no-go decisions based on evidence. Failure management and learning. The best organizations recognize that not all AI initiatives succeed and create psychological safety for productive failure. They distinguish between failures that generate valuable learning, encouraged, and failures stemming from poor execution or inadequate planning, addressed. This nuanced approach to risk-taking enables innovation while maintaining accountability. Balanced portfolio management. Leading companies maintain portfolios spanning incremental improvements, deploying significant workflow transformations, reshaping, and bold new ventures, inventing. The 70% concentration of value in core business functions, Apotheker et al. 2025, reflects pragmatic focus on proven value drivers while the emerging agentic AI capabilities demonstrate willingness to explore transformative applications. The balance between standardization and customization proves particularly important. Centralized platforms and shared capabilities drive efficiency and reduce duplication. But overly rigid standards can stifle innovation. Future-built organizations establish clear boundaries, which capabilities must remain standardized for governance, security, or efficiency reasons, and where customization creates competitive differentiation. Responsible AI integration and stakeholder trust as AI systems become more autonomous and consequential. Organizations must embed responsible AI principles into capability development rather than treating ethics and governance as afterthoughts. The 72% of companies reporting unmanaged AI security risks, Apotheker et al. 2025, suggests that many rush deployment without adequate protections, creating vulnerabilities that undermine stakeholder trust and organizational resilience. Building trustworthy AI systems requires systematic attention to transparent governance frameworks. Future-built companies are 4.6 times as likely to implement fit-for-purpose guardrails, Apotheker et al. 2025, establishing clear policies for data usage, model deployment, and human oversight. These frameworks balance innovation velocity with necessary controls, enabling rapid experimentation within bounded risk parameters. Bias detection and mitigation, as AI systems increasingly influence decisions affecting customers, employees, and communities, organizations must proactively identify and address algorithmic bias. Leading firms implement testing protocols that surface problematic patterns before deployment, create diverse teams to identify blind spots, and establish mechanisms for ongoing monitoring and correction. Explainability and human override. The 66% of respondents citing concerns about hallucinations and lack of explainability, Apotheker et al. 2025, highlights the importance of designing AI systems where humans can understand reasoning, challenge recommendations, and override automated decisions. This proves particularly critical in agentic systems with increasing autonomy. Data privacy and security. Organizations must implement robust protections for sensitive data used in AI training and operation. This includes technical controls limiting access, governance processes defining appropriate usage, and monitoring systems detecting anomalous patterns. The enterprise-wide data policies enforced by central oversight teams at future-built companies, Apotheker et al. 2025, provide necessary coordination without micromanagement. Stakeholder communication. Effective organizations communicate clearly with customers, employees, and regulators about how AI influences products, services, and decisions. Transparency about AI usage builds confidence and surfaces concerns before they become crises. The 100% customer satisfaction achieved by the Restaurant Technology Vision AI pilot, Apotheker et al. 2025, reflects not just technical effectiveness but successful management of user expectations and experience. Responsible AI proves compatible with business value creation rather than conflicting with it. Organizations that embed ethical considerations into initial design avoid costly retrofits, regulatory penalties, and reputation damage. They build stakeholder confidence that enables broader adoption and more ambitious applications. Ecosystem orchestration and strategic partnerships. No organization possesses all necessary capabilities for sustained AI leadership internally. The rapidly evolving technology landscape, scarcity of specialized talent, and complexity of enterprise-scale deployment necessitate strategic engagement with external partners. Companies leveraging ecosystems effectively are 3 times as likely to experiment with or deploy agents and to reuse models and prompts across workflows, Apotheker et al. 2025. Effective ecosystem strategies include selective partnership for core capabilities. Organizations should identify which capabilities provide competitive differentiation, warranting internal development, versus which serve as necessary infrastructure, appropriate for external sourcing. The insurance company deploying agentic AI through partnerships with infrastructure providers, foundation model specialists, and data integration platforms demonstrates this principle, Apotheker et al. 2025. Multi-vendor orchestration, rather than depending on single suppliers. Leading firms cultivate relationships across the AI stack, infrastructure providers, platform vendors, application specialists, and system integrators. This portfolio approach reduces lock-in risk, enables best-of-breed combinations, and creates competitive pressure that improves service quality and pricing. Joint value creation models. The most effective partnerships move beyond transactional relationships toward shared accountability for outcomes. When partners have skin in the game, through risk-sharing arrangements or outcome-based pricing, they contribute more strategic value and remain engaged through implementation challenges. Knowledge transfer and capability building. Partnerships should build internal capabilities rather than creating permanent dependencies. Organizations should structure engagements to develop employee skills, transfer knowledge about implementation approaches, and establish patterns for independent deployment of similar solutions. The beauty products company's virtual assistant implementation across 20+ markets and 8 brands, Apotheker et al. 2025, likely required partnerships spanning cloud infrastructure, natural language processing, customer data platforms, and e-commerce integration. The projected $100 million revenue impact reflects both the solution's effectiveness and the company's ability to orchestrate complex partner ecosystems. As AI technology continues advancing, ecosystem engagement becomes increasingly critical. Organizations cannot maintain cutting-edge expertise across predictive AI, generative AI, agentic systems, vision AI, and emerging capabilities while simultaneously running core businesses. Strategic partnerships enable access to specialized knowledge, reduce time to value, and provide flexibility as technology evolves. Conclusion: the widening AI value gap represents one of the most consequential competitive dynamics in contemporary business. The empirical evidence is unambiguous. A small cohort of future-built organizations generates dramatically superior returns from AI investments while the majority struggle to achieve meaningful value despite substantial resource commitment. With only 5% of companies operating at the highest maturity level and 60% generating minimal returns, the transformation challenge facing most enterprises is significant and urgent. The compounding nature of AI advantage makes this gap particularly concerning. Future-built companies reinvest their returns into enhanced capabilities, allocating 64% more of IT budgets to AI, upskilling more than 50% of workforces, and aggressively deploying emerging technologies like agentic AI. This creates virtuous cycles of accelerating performance while laggards face vicious cycles of constrained investment and falling further behind. The 3.6 times higher 3-year total shareholder return delivered by leaders, Apotheker et al. 2025, demonstrates that investors recognize and reward this divergence. The emergence of agentic AI amplifies both opportunity and risk. Systems that autonomously reason, plan, and act promise to reshape core business workflows more profoundly than previous automation waves. With agentic value projected to nearly double from 17% to 29% of total AI value by 2028, Apotheker et al. 2025, organizations that master agent orchestration within redesigned workflows will fundamentally alter competitive dynamics. Those that fail to act face permanent disadvantage as digital native competitors and AI-advanced incumbents reshape industry economics. The path forward is clear but demanding. Organizations must pursue 5 interconnected strategies, establish ambitious multi-year AI visions with CEO-level ownership and explicit value targets, reshape workflows end-to-end rather than automating incrementally, adopt AI-first operating models with joint business IT governance and ecosystem partnerships, systematically upskill workforce talent while redesigning roles for human-AI collaboration, and build interoperable technology architectures with unified data foundations. Critically, this is not primarily a technology challenge. The empirical evidence overwhelmingly indicates that roadblocks concentrate in people, organization, and process dimensions. The 20th of October, 70 rule applies. 70% of strategic focus should address organizational and people challenges. 20% technology infrastructure, and only 10% algorithms. Organizations that approach AI transformation as purely technical initiatives invariably fail to achieve scale and value.